Welcome to the archive, Jack. How you doing today?
Excellent, mate. How are you?
Excellent.
Am I looking at the thing or at you? I'm not used to these.
Used to these?
Yeah.
Why are you not used to these?
Because it looks like a cannon,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not used to them pointing at the face, so
All right.
I'll sort of look here.
You can look here, then. Whichever works for you. All right. So you have the Rogues Armada.
Hi. Rogues Armada, we are the official pirates of Salem and Boston, as a matter of fact.
And Boston.
Yes, we got letters mark from both mayors, and they're not mayors anymore, but we're keeping them. They're official documents until someone says otherwise. Both Boston and Salem official pirates.
All right. All right. So how did that happen?
Sneak attack on the pirate of the mayor of Boston. Sort of wrote it up ourselves and just contacted him and put it in his face, and he said, "Sure, why not?" Not really. We arranged it, and we arranged it in advance. And actually, the mayor of Salem, during their haunted happenings, probably I want to say it was 8-9 years ago, we contacted them in advance. We've done some work with Salem for many years, and we know the mayor, and asked them if they'd be willing to do it, and she did. She actually declared it Rogues Armada Day that particular day, and signed the document for us.
Wow. Okay. So how did the whole Rogues Armada get started?
Well, we've been doing this for some time, Lady Molly and I, going to different venues and events such as this and running into other pirates. And over time, particularly in the Salem Pirate Festival that used to happen on Winter Island, was probably the first unofficial start of it. We met up with several people and asked them to do certain events. We had a parade coming up, and we had no one to be in the parade, so we started inviting every pirate we met and decided to give ourselves a formal name, and then we started doing larger events and festivals such as this.
All right. And what do you do at these events?
Well, today, it varies, but today what we're doing is training pirates, particularly young pirates. Young pirates on board a pirate ship were valuable because they were what you would call powder monkeys, which was the decks on a ship, the lower decks where the cannons were about this high. So an adult couldn't run around, but children could run back and forth. So they had them called powder monkeys. If I needed more gunpowder, send them off. So we train as many pirates as we can of a younger age on how to use the sword, how to say "ah" like a proper pirate, give them a pirate name, a bit of treasure, and sign them up.
All right. So how many powder monkeys are normally on a boat?
Oh, on any given boat at any given time, probably not more than 4, but you tend to go through them quickly, and they grow. That's the problem. Little children grow up quickly, and so you can only keep them in service for about a year or 2.
Do you have to kidnap powder monkeys every once in a while?
No. You know what? Pirates used to kidnap. That's how piracy started. It wasn't so much robbing other people, it was hijacking people and holding them for hostage. Julius Caesar was kidnapped by pirates. And so was St. Patrick. That's how he got to Ireland. They were all kidnapped until someone said, we'd make a lot more money just sacking ships. And that's what we started doing.
All right.
Got some sign-ups. I
Hmm?
think you've got some powder monkeys.
Oh, powder monkey over here? Well, let's see.
Go right ahead.
Well, you know what? To be on a crew, you kind of have to work together. He would like. He's interested, but he doesn't know if he really wants to be a pirate or not.
I understand.
He needs more information
All right.
on what he would do.
We could put you up in the crow's nest. Do you know what that is? So, top of a ship, you see that ship over there? Or that one over there? There's a little sort of bucket at the top called the crow's nest. And you would go up and we'd just drop you in the bucket. And you'd sit out there with your spyglass and look out on the horizon for other ships, and then you call down to us and say, there's a land ho, or naval ship at 2 o'clock, and then we would just leave you out there and probably forget about you.
Does that sound like a good plan or no? No?
He might fall asleep up there.
You might fall asleep. You might fall asleep.
You have good eyes. You can see everything.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I tried to give him some job opportunities.
We can't press gang him.
Bye, pirates.
Hi, mate.
Bye, mate.
Also terrified. We are doing our job.
It's okay. We're friendly.
Fine and proper.
Okay. Thanks so much.
You've done it right when they're terrified and run away.
So did pirates start saying things like "arg" to be scary?
Pirates would say "ah" for 2 reasons. One, some of them were not educated, and it would just be, instead of saying I, it was an accent more than anything else. Have you ever watched a movie called Treasure Island?
Yes.
Treasure Island with Robert Newton. Robert Newton was saying constantly in that movie. He said it 11 times in Treasure Island. He did Return to Treasure Island, and he said it about 36 times because people were expecting it. And then he did a movie called Blackbeard, and he said it literally 106 times. And it's because it was a low country accent. It had nothing to do with being a pirate. It was where he was from in England.
All right. That is interesting, and it's stuck ever since.
Treasure Island was a huge movie, so everyone thought the parrot and the peg leg and all that stuff were immediately what every pirate did. We just had someone ask us before, where's our parrot? Where's our parrot? We ate it. We don't have a parrot. I have no idea.
Did pirates actually have any parrots at any time?
I think they would probably have them as pets for a short time. But if a pirate kept an animal on board, it was for food. It was going to be for food at some point. Maybe, possibly, if they taught it to talk and they found it amusing, they might keep it. But no, it was on the plate.
Eventually, it was on the plate. So, normally, what kind of animals were brought on ships?
Well, you have to remember that these were men from Europe who had never seen tropical animals in their entire life, and especially colourful animals. They just didn't have them in the upper climes, so they would go down and see things like parrots and monkeys and ferrets. I suppose they had ferrets, but even lizards and iguana and things like that, just these amazing creatures that they didn't have at home, so they'd capture them and, try to feed them, had no idea what to feed them most of the time, because they didn't know what the foods were. And, so if it survived and they found it entertaining, they kept it as a pet. And if it was on its way out, it was a shish kebab, and that was it. Yes?
Excuse me, this gent would like a piece of pirate treasure.
Piece of pirate treasure for that gent.
Thank you.
You're welcome, love. Giving away all of our treasure, we'll have nothing left by the time we get back to the ship. We'll be dry of treasure. That's all right. That's what we're here for.
That's all right. Then you just go rob someone else.
Well, that's the idea, yeah. They rob us, we rob them. That's the way it all works. It makes the world go round.
Exactly. And you might be able to kidnap a couple pirates.
Well, I can bribe them at least. At the very least, I would bribe them. Kidnapping is difficult. There's a lot of police and park service rangers around here, so probably just bribe them and trick them.
All right. So how many times have you come to the Maritime Festival?
I think this will be our fifth.
Yeah.
I think this is our fifth time. They didn't do it the last year or two because of world events and everything. But so we're happy to be back. Usually they have us on the other side of the dock, but because of the ship, they wanted to clear the space for all the tourists.
All right. Do you guys do events in Salem during Halloween?
Yeah, you'll see the two of us up on Essex Street nearly every weekend in October. We also do the Salem Haunted Happenings Parade that happens on the first Thursday of October. We have our Pirates of the Rogues Armada show up for that. We usually have about 35 to 40 pirates marching in that first Thursday in October. And sometimes there's little events, but mostly we spend our time out on Essex Street, just meeting, greeting people, taking pictures, and training them to be pirates.
How many people have signed up for the Rogues Armada just from that?
We have 1,600 people in the Rogues Armada around the world. In this area, I would say in New England, probably about 110 in different parts. We even had one who for a short time was stationed in Antarctica. So we were probably the only pirate crew that had an Antarctic. It's a pirate on the South Pole. Not a lot of pirating to be done on the South Pole, but he was there for whatever reason.
All right. So how does somebody sign up to be in the Rogues Armada?
So our website is roguesarmada.com. You can also find us on Facebook. If you are a pirate, especially on Facebook, go to our group. We do have a few rules, not many. Send us a picture and let us know where you pirate. We need to know that you are pirating gear. We also have a group page for people who are not pirates, who just want to follow along and see what we do. But look for Rogues Armada on Facebook and you'll find us.
All right. So, what is your favorite bit about, or your favorite part of pirate history for here in Salem?
Favorite pirate history here in Salem. Pirate history in Salem is odd because there were pirates coming in and out, but a lot of them kept a low profile. But this was the richest port in the New World for many, many years before Boston, before New York. So pirates are coming in and out of these exact shores probably a century or more. But one thing you don't know, a lot of people don't know, there was a pirate named John Quelch who stole a ship called the Charles. He was actually a mate on board. It was a privateer ship. The pirate captain died. John Quelch took over, decided to go on the account, become a pirate. Sailed to Brazil, sacked all kinds of towns, and when word got out, privateers came out to hunt him. That's what a privateer was in those days. And one of them was a captain named John Turner, who owned the House of Seven Gables, three doors down from here. So they would have been sailing out of there across this harbour. Well, it's changed significantly, but it would have been something like this, chasing after a real pirate ship right from here.
So, how many ships did he have, or how many ships would have sailed out of here to go get him?
Well, from here it was just the one. He only owned the one. I don't recall the name of it. There were probably some others from Salem and from Boston rather, and I'm sure there were some up and down the East Coast. John Quelch is not a famous pirate, but in his day he was pretty successful and ticked a lot of people off. So they sent out the ships after him.
All right. So how did a pirate back in the day keep a low profile here in Salem?
You know, even though this was a rich port, they didn't get rich just off of official and legal goods. So if you were a pirate and you were spending money legally, that's all you had to do. Come on shore. If you had goods to trade, you could trade them. If you had money to spend on goods, just don't go around stealing things that people leave you alone, for the most part.
Okay. So was there a whole black market set up, or was that not really it?
In Salem? Well, there was always a black market. I mean, everywhere. You know, we would say, hello, how are you? What's your name? Pardon me just a moment.
Io.
Io?
Uh-huh.
Is that 2 letters or 3 letters?
1.
It-
2.
2, 1. Hold on, 1 you confused me. It's I-O, 2 letters. That's lovely, I love it. Are you a pirate, Io, by any chance? You are? How are you a pirate, tell me?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure, can you make a mean pirate face? Well, no, you're batting your eyes at me. That's not mean at all. You're like, that sort of thing. And that's pretty good. And how old are you, may I ask? 8, perfect. So I was telling someone earlier that the youngest pirate ever was 8, and that's the truth. His name was John King. He sailed out of Cape Cod. So if you want to be a pirate, you can. And we have 2 jobs available. We need someone to clean the bathrooms, and then we have the other job. Which one would you like?
I'll clean the bathroom.
Clean the bathrooms, you got it. Io is hired to clean the bathrooms. Good. All right, perfect. You haven't seen our bathrooms, but fine.
How to sword fight.
I'm what?
At a block party, you taught me how to sword fight.
Oh, did I? Do you remember it?
Yes.
You sure? Because I have my swords. Do you want to give it a go?
I'm good.
You're good? All right, you remember it. See? That's oh, watch out. That's how you do it. You dodge the sword fight. You pretend you know what you're doing, and then you dodge it. We have someone to clean the bathrooms, Molly.
Oh, finally.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. So, how often did pirates swashbuckler sword fight?
Oh, God, constantly. So a pirate would have a pistol, usually, and a sword. They might even have several pistols, because in those days you only got one shot off. So if someone were coming at you from a distance, you'd shoot at them, and that would be it. But as soon as they got in close quarters, you had to pull out the sword. And on a ship, it wasn't fancy sword fighting, it was this, right in everyone's face. You'd have daggers tucked away, so yeah, that was the main. If you were fighting against another army or another crew, it was all sword fighting.
It was all sword fighting.
Yeah, pistols for initial shot as people coming towards you from a distance, but once they got on board, that was you all swords.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, there's nothing like getting sliced apart by a sword. It's not pretty.
All right. So when a lot of people like to say that there's a golden age of piracy here, do you agree with that? There's a golden age.
The golden age of piracy would have been in the early 1700s, late 1600s, early 1700s. And actually, by the time the golden age came around, much of what was happening in the Caribbean had already passed and been tracked down. So a lot of those pirates sailed to Africa, and they were all up along. If you've ever heard of the Barbary coast in Africa and the Barbary pirates. The Barbary pirates were probably privateers trying to fend off all of these invading European pirates. So that would have been the golden age. And then that died down and pirates spread back again. But around the early 1700s, England got a hold of it and Spain got a hold of it. And they were trading back and forth wars so often. Who was partners, who was allies. You know, you never knew who you were supposed to attack and who you weren't. So they were cleaning it up.
Okay. So it just got so out of control that the crown had to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, there was such an influx that neither Spain or England knew what to do about it. There were so many people. There was a war between England and Spain, and they both recruited men to come on their ships, come to the New World and fight in that war. And then once the war was over, they basically said, thank you, off we go, and dropped them off on shore. And here were men who couldn't get home, couldn't afford to get home, had no skills, had nothing to do in the New World, and basically turned piracy. It's not the only reason, but they literally brought thousands of men and turned them into pirates, and then went, oh no, why do we have all these pirates? By the way, I didn't do it. Oh, that's an ambulance. Well, I didn't do that either. I didn't do any of it. I might have done some of it.
All right. So I, not long ago, did an interview with Izzy Lawrence, and she was talking about during this time, piracy, it was a contributor to America's democracy, or she theorizes it.
Piracy probably was the first democracy, at least in the New World. Everyone thinks of a pirate captain as somebody ruled with an iron hand, and usually, unless he owned the ship, that was not the case at all. Pirate captain was voted in place by the crew, and if they didn't like him, they voted him out. If you were injured on board a ship, you were compensated for it. They would pay you different amounts for a left hand or a right hand. If you lost an eye, you lost a leg, you would get paid for it. On a merchant ship, they would go, well, you're useless to us, and they'd drop you off on shore. And you never got to talk down a merchant ship captain or a naval captain, but on a pirate ship, everyone got a say in what they were going to attack, where they were going to attack. The only time the pirate captain had absolute say was in the middle of battle. When they were in battle, being chased or chasing, then you listen to the captain. Other than that, everyone had a say. So yeah, probably one of the first democracies here.
All right, that's interesting. Were pirates also like superstitious at the time? Did they have
Again, not the most educated group of people. Some were very educated. Harvard University, remember, was founded in 1693. So there were men who had graduated from universities, or even in England older than that, and just decided for a life of adventure. But most of them were basic sea hands, or not even sea hands. They were just landlubbers who got work on a ship, didn't even know how to swim. Very uneducated people, and they thought that's one of the reasons you would have a figurehead on the front of a ship. They thought that the figurehead would calm the seas. A lovely woman would calm the sea down, but not on the ship, because the ship itself was female, so you would have no women on board the ship because your ship would become jealous of it. Didn't make a whole lot of sense. Women not on the ship but strapped to the front of it, alright, fine. You were not allowed to whistle at sea. If you whistled, that was calling the gods who control winds, and you could summon a hurricane by whistling. You know, there were a lot of superstitions.
Okay.
And then there were pirate captains saying, you're being an idiot, stop, just whistle all you want, don't worry about it. You know, so, little of both.
So, just kind of backtracking a little bit with pirates with pirate democracy, or pirates that may have owned a ship. There were some people that might have said that there were some pirates that were a bit tyrannical.
Yes.
On ship.
Yes.
That was true.
Oh, yes. As I said, some of them, if a pirate owned his own ship, Captain Kidd in particular. If some people don't remember Captain Kidd, but he was a very famous pirate. He was a privateer, committed an act of piracy by attacking an enemy ship that didn't have papers, that he wasn't supposed to attack, and he actually killed a man on board his ship. He got angry with him, got a water bucket and hit him off the head with it and killed him. You can't do that on a pirate ship. You cannot kill your own crew. He his crew did not care for him much. There was also a pirate named Edward Lowe, Ned Lowe, who was sadistic. He was insane, and his crew was sort of insane. But he even got to a point where he was doing things, and I won't go into it. But even his crew went, "All right, we get it. You're evil," and they overthrew him. I believe they overthrew him. But yeah, they were certainly monsters.
There were certainly monsters.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, there are also I heard there's some pirates out there like Sam Bellamy.
Yeah.
Who kind of just did it for out of love. He's looking to get money and then go marry a woman and start a family.
Exactly. Sam Bellamy on Cape Cod was, he went to just go seek his fortune, which a lot of people were doing for piracy. I mean, they weren't going out to kill people, they were going out to seek a fortune. And he was known as the Prince of Pirates because when he attacked a ship, he would make a promise. He said, if you go along with us, we will not hurt your crew. And if they went along, he kept his word. He didn't hurt anybody if he could help it. There were some pirates who flew a flag. You're familiar with the Jolly Roger, the black one. Black one is bad, but if they flew a red flag, that was worse. Red flag means no quarter. We're going to kill you. We don't care what you do. We don't care what you have. We're just making a name for ourselves. We're going to kill you. Black Sam never flew a red flag, as far as they know, and he kept his word. If he said, you cooperate with us and we won't be violent, they weren't violent.
Alright, so Jack, is there anything else you'd like to share about pirates or pirate history?
Yeah, don't believe everything you hear and see in the movies. Some pirates were terrible people. Some pirates were not terrible people. They were people in bad situations. The main thing about pirates is they wanted to pursue a life of freedom. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want anyone to tell them. So if you're ever in the area, in Salem especially in October, come up on Essex Street, come see me and Molly in the weekends in October, and we'll tell you anything you want to know about pirates, or come find us on Rogues Armada on Facebook or roguesarmada.com.
Thank you again.
Cheers, mates.
Brilliant.
Last question. What do you have do you have a message for future generations?
For future generations?
Yeah.
How future? Stop messing with the Martians. They have no interest in you. Just leave them alone. Is that much future? I don't know what we're talking about.